Okay, so for this episode, we're gonna be doing the courts of the castle. And I'll do some like filming like this way and some filming like the replay mod. Just because when I place the schematic down, it like looks a little weird. I'll show you. It looks a little weird while I'm building, so I just prefer to do it without the, so that you guys can see the whole building and not the like, oh, what it's gonna be later, you know? So yeah, I'll start with the schematic and then I'll turn it off when I'm ready. Or I'll start with the replay mod and then I'll come back when I'm ready. So I'll see you guys. So I only did some of the chords, so we're gonna do some more chords later. But now I'll do the song. I mean, like later in the next video. But I'll do this song, and you can guess it in the comments. Out across the nighttime, city wings a sleepless eye. Hear her voice shake my window, sweet seducing sighs. Get me out into the nighttime, for walls won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite. If they say why, tell 'em that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? If they say why, tell 'em that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? Reaching out to touch a stranger. Electric eyes are everywhere. See that girl? She knows I'm watching. She likes the way I stare. If they say why, just tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? If they say why, tell him that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? I like living this way. I like loving this way. Why? Looking out across the morning, the city's heart begins to beat. Reaching out, I touch her shoulder. I'm dreaming of the street. If they say why, tell 'em that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? They say why, tell 'em that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? They say why, cha 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 cha. Why does he do me that way? If they say why, tell him that it's human nature. Why they do me that way? They say why, da 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 da. Why does he do me that way? If they say why, da 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 da. Why does he do this way? I like living this way. So that's this week's song. I hope you enjoyed, and now I'll go into the movie recap. So for this week's movie, I will be recapping the movie Gattaca, and it is rated PG-13 for brief violent images, language, and some sexuality. So this movie was released in 1997, and I just watched it yesterday. I've watched it many times. The first time I watched it was in science class, I think biology, and I really liked it, in class. And I thought I liked it because there was a lot of ways to analyze the movie and consider how the future would have looked if we had used these new technologies in like what I consider to be like a bad way of using this, but it's also up for debate. Like people still consider things like this, and I think it's good to remember and think about how society might be affected if we used this kind of technology. In the movie, it's a utopian society based on, so there's like CRISPR in science class is what we were learning about, and it's like you sequence DNA and select certain DNA traits to be carried on to the offspring, which I think is very questionable as like a concept. It's like you try to remove all disease, and this future is like, oh, you can tell how someone is gonna die the moment they're born, and you test their blood and DNA and see like the percentages that this person is gonna die from like heart disease or something like that. And then, so yeah, at the beginning of this movie, we hear Vincent, who is a normal like baby, because his parents didn't like do the genetic thing to select the correct genes or whatever, and so he's considered in this world an invalid because his parents didn't had a natural child. And then we see that as soon as he was born, he's given a life expectancy of like 30.2 years old because he'll die from heart disease, and that sucks, but we then see him like growing up, and he wants to be, and he's played by Ethan Hawke, Vincent is, and we see that growing up he wants to go to space, and like in the future it's really common to go to space, like you go to space like 12 times in one day. So yeah, but the invalids can't go to space because they're not they don't think that they'll survive in space, like the society or whatever. And also it's like segregation heavily with the like invalids and the valids. And then we see him like be a janitor at the space place, and he like is always looking up at the sky wanting to be on one of the rockets. So yeah, he wants to be up in the sky where the people are. And then we see him meet, actually no, then we see him like he's training and he's trying to become like able to do the astronaut tests and stuff, even though like there's no chance he can do it. But anyway, and we also see that his brother is, his parents after having Vincent chose to have another kid who was made through like the genetic selecting thing, and his parents at first were like, oh, should we really be selecting everything for this kid? And they did. They just questioned it for like a minute, and they did. So they chose a boy who was like very healthy and will be tall and everything. And I think the geneticist said something like, oh, it's the best parts of you or something like that, which I think is so strange. I do not agree with the things going on here, you know. But anyway, you have this society where, you know, you select the genes or whatever, and then they have this baby, and then his father names him after himself. So like normally when you have the first boy or whatever, the father will, you know, make a junior, like copy the dad's name to the son's name. But because Vincent was gonna die at age 30, his dad, instead of naming him Anton, named him Vincent. Because, bro, I don't even know what the dad was thinking. The dad is actually rude. Just name him Anton. Don't worry about the life expectancy. You know, anyway. Then we see Vincent and Anton growing up together, and they're like, Anton's already always smarter, always faster, can run longer and everything. And they do like swim races up and down a river or a sea or ocean, I forget. Anyway, they'd swim races like growing up, and Anton would always win. And Vincent, like, when Vincent beats Anton, then he goes to the janitor program, and then he thinks that he'll be able to do the going up into space. But also, if you think about it, like exercising well and like eating healthily can decrease your risk of heart disease. So him trying to become an astronaut will make him live longer. And like it's just a box that society put him in that he's gonna die at 30, you know. But if you like live your life healthily and like improve upon yourself, then you could defy the odds and like live longer than the blood test says. And that's just like science has like some answers, but it's like not definite. They also say it's like a 99% chance he's gonna die at 30, not like it's 100% chance. So like he could still work hard and like try to make it past the 1%, you know. And then he is at the janitor's place, and then he meets this shady guy who he buys a valid person's blood from. So this guy is played by Jude Law, and he's like a British guy who can no longer walk because he had some sort of accident. I can't remember what the accident is, but I think his name is Jerome Morrow. And then Jerome is like super depressed and like addicted to all these substances or whatever, so he'll also have to get clean for Vincent to be able to, you know, take his spot in society. So then they have the scheme where Vincent will be Jerome, and they will get through the security measures of the astronaut place. So the space agency thing, you have to go through a finger blood test. You have to pee in a cup every day, like drug testing every day, which also confirms your DNA. And then they will check for like DNA at the end of the night or something. I don't even know. But Vincent, who is Jerome at the time, like will clean his desk of any like hair scraps or anything on his desk, so that it's only Jerome's, not Vincent's, DNA on the stuff. It's super strange. It's to like prevent DNA like countermeasures or whatever, for if they get like someone's trying to catch them or whatever. You gotta have Jerome's DNA on the workspace and not Vincent's. And then we see that the guy that tests the urine is always like really sus about Vincent, who is, you know, fake Vincent. And yeah, And then we see that another guy who's also suspicious of fake Vincent or fake Jerome also is really sus of Vincent. So the next day, this guy who was sus on Vincent is dead. And we're like, what? Oh no. Everything is screwed. But Vincent didn't kill him. Just know that Vincent did not do the killing. It was, I mean, we'll find out throughout the movie, but you know, it wasn't him. And then we see like the like FBI for this place comes in, and also Vincent is working with Irene, who's this like lady who is played by Uma Thurman, and she's just like the female character of the movie. And she like watches him run to make sure his heartbeat is like a normal heartbeat. But they like recorded the real Jerome's heartbeat instead of Vincent's heartbeat, because it would go crazy if it was really Vincent's heartbeat when they're doing the running exercises for the astronaut stuff. And then we see the detectives are like honing in on things, and they find a hair, what is it called? An eyelash that is Vincent's eyelash. And then, oh no, they think Vincent murdered the guy. Vincent didn't murder the guy, but they think that he murdered the guy because he's an invalid. That's not a good enough basis for a case. Okay? And then we see them like doing the investigation, and Vincent and Jerome are freaking out, like they don't want to get caught. And then eventually Vincent and Irene go to a nightclub, and then the nightclub gets busted by the police because a lot of like people were there, like invalids were all partying or whatever. And then they try to get Vincent because they're looking for the owner of the eyelash, to see if he's a murderer or not. And then in the tunnel, like Vincent and Irene run out into a tunnel, and Vincent confesses that he is not Jerome, he is Vincent, and Irene freaks out a little bit. And then but they like make up really quickly, and then they go, and then the like FBI people are like very sus on Jerome too. So they go and do real blood tests from the vein, and Vincent switches the blood from Vincent's real blood to Jerome's blood when he like makes a mess in the lab or whatever. And then we see them pass that test, and then like the detectives are like, oh, he must not be here, or at least he's not pretending to be one of these people, you know, because they got blood from the vein, you know. And then we see one of the detectives is still really questioning all of this, and he's like, this is so strange. So he still goes to Jerome's house to like talk to him and stuff, but Vincent tells the real Jerome beforehand, and they were able to pull it off yet again. And then there's a shocking plot twist. The detective is actually Anton, Vincent's brother. So they go to like the lake that they were racing on as kids, and like when Vincent left, you know. And then they race again, and then Vincent tells Anton his secret, that Vincent doesn't save for the way back because there's like another way to get off of this lake, like a island or something. And that's why Vincent was able to beat Anton the last time they raced. So they both go to the end, and then Vincent wins the race again. And then they go back to the space agency, and Anton kind of gives up because it's his brother and everything. And then it's like they're about to launch, and that's why everyone was like freaking out. But it was the director who murdered the guy. And then he confesses, and he's like, oh, I just wanted to make sure the program went ahead, and this guy was always questioning the program and everything, so I just want to make sure we launch, because this like launch window is only one in like a few hundred years, so like they need to launch now. So then they do end up launching with Vincent Jerome, you know, the fake Jerome. And then they blast off, and the movie ends. So yeah, they made it. But I think this movie has a lot of like, you look at society and you look at like history, and I think it's good to learn history and good to learn like why you shouldn't do things in a society. Like, I don't think it would be a good society if we chose people's genes, like, and you've seen it with, I mean, I've seen like in places that make you have only one child, it's oftentimes you choose the guy because you choose to have like a boy because they're considered easier to raise, which I don't think should be true. But also you have boys are like considered better for some reason, like they can carry on the family name, but that's just because society chose that they have the last name, you know. Nothing is really stopping like the women from being the one to carry on the family name, but society and like how women and men have been looked at in the past, you know. So I think if this society existed, it would be not fun to live in, and it would be like, why would you then also separate the people who were born naturally and the people who were born by selecting their genes? That's also really strange. And like in the past, it's not good to separate people. Like, we should be supporting each other, you know? Like why do you do this? Anyway, I think it's a good movie to like learn and look at and like analyze, and like it's not just like a rom-com like my other movies that I've reviewed. It like actually has like a overarching theme or whatever. So that was Gattaca. Yeah, I hope you have a good rest of the video. Bye. Okay, so that's all the quartz I'll be doing today, but we have to do this time before we end the video, and I'll be finishing the quartz up next week. And so this person has recently joined the trend of the I show speed commenting gifs, so we're gonna give them a sign as well. And let me think about the color. I think there's like green in it, but I don't have the green wool. Let me see. He's eating a sandwich in this one. I think a lot of the gifts have like, I just be having the blue hoodie, so I'll give the blue hoodie away again. Or the blue wool away again. I think this should be the closest to the bottom with a free spot, and they are DAARANN. So 3 A's, 2 N's. Thank you for commenting, and I hope you enjoy the videos in the future. Bye. Have a good rest of your week.